I'm joined in studio by Lefionga, Lia Tailinga Lo'o Mary Afemata, for our second, this would be our second day, our second week of Upu Uiga Lasi. We had our recap last week, talking about some of the words that we spoke about last year, as well as Tailinga Lolo'o's journey to receiving her matai title over the summer. So now we're back. We're back. We're back. Talofa lava, Maloso for Manvia, Ilo Fionga Tailinga. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lonnie. Also say Leiataualesa. Good to be back. Always my favourite segment on PM in Samoa.
Thank you. Look, it's been, man, the week goes by really fast.
Yeah, I feel like I blinked my eyes in.
We were just talking about this last week.
Long weekend this weekend.
Yeah, Auckland anniversary. That's right. We need to remind that.
You know.
Thank you for reminding us. Look, our getting into our word for today. This afternoon, let me just look at my notes. Upu Uiga Lasi. For those who have just joined, actually, we should probably preface this. Moila tō leftoa join mai, mafuta mai I le tātou polkalame I le nei awa uli, I longa the 685 show. Upu Uiga Lasi is a segment that we do every week with Tailinga, and Leiataualesa is taking a bit of a break at the moment, but we'll join in every now and then on our show. Pea mo lewa noa. Upu Uiga Lasi is exactly what it means. Well, one word with many meanings. Yeah, e tau lau baron, lau palangi. Ole polysemous words. A polysemous word is a single word with multiple related meanings. So every week we look at a Upu Uiga Lasi or a polysemous word for us to talatala, or get under the hood as such. It's a term they use in music or creative or even mechanics.
Thanks, Lenny. I forgot about polysemous.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you saying Upu Langa Lasi. I was like Upu word.
Winga.
Thank you. Yeah, meaning Upu Uiga Lasi. What does Lasi mean? Many.
Cool. We should actually break that down in another show. But Upu Uiga Lasi is, for those who've just joined, that's what our program's about. So we're officially back for 2026. Our word for today, Tata Upu Uiga Lasi mo le neia wa uli. Ole tala.
I'm looking at you, but yeah, tala.
So we share what we might know, different versions of the word, different meanings, and find out. Hopefully, if anyone's listening, again, I prefaced at the start of our 685 show, who might be listening in, feel free to call through or Limato Tasi 0800 000 531. If we've missed something or if we've gotten something wrong, something just before we get into our tala for today, our Upu Uiga Lasi, something,
I like what you did there.
something that was brought up, someone who was listening in last week but couldn't call in, because we were talking about your sawha'i, and we were talking about, we kept saying fale Samoa. A note from last week was when referring to le fale or le fale Samoa, we always refer to as le mauta, which is something I missed.
Thank you, because me picking up as well, and I only recognised it as the big fale, and like, where'd you have yourself at? I was like, in the fale Samoa, but ole mauta, so we had it in the mauta. There was a feedback from someone who was listening in last week. Thank you for noting that, and I'm never going to forget that. I'm going to remember it too now. Like, where'd you have yourself at? I was like, in the... So I don't say fale, I say, we had it in the mauta. So whae le mauta.
Le mauta, le matua ainga, or matua nu'u. But it would most likely be le mauta or le matua ainga, or your family. Diving into tala, just off the bat.
Tala, straight away, and I'm... That's not a plug, and I'm not thinking of Tala the restaurant, even though it's amazing. But Tala is based on storytelling, so Tala, story or tale.
Teo, yeah, that's one of them. Tala le, I'm reading a book at the moment called Tala le Vavau.
I think I've heard of that, and it tells about stories.
Yeah, it's got all these different Samoan stories.
Cool. And it has English version and Samoan.
Yeah.
So it would be like, is it Britannia and then for Samoa?
For Samoa, yeah. So I'm going to reading that again. That's that there's many stories, tale, tole tala. I wonder whether that there's a link to tale and tala. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, tale means story.
Yeah, it could be like an actual. You know how some of the words are. What are they called? Like transliterated, transliteration of.
But then I think, like, when I think of tale, I think of myth, or you know, like, there's so many ways to say story. But my understanding, because tala is story, and then obviously as a journalist, like I learned that tusitala is a journalist.
Tusitala, yeah.
Yeah, or a writer.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why I'm thinking of speak, but they're like out here like kaukalamai, like
yes, you're right.
Taukalamai.
Tala to talk. Tala. Obviously, tala being the base word, but yeah, you're right.
And then tala, currency, the Samoan dollar.
Yeah, same spelling, different word, different meaning. But
is it the macron on top of the A?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The whamamafa on the A, making it tala. But same family. Yeah.
But that's what, when I think of tala, I think of story, writing. But do you have any other ones out there?
I do.
Oh, cool. Because I was like, can I call a friend? Because I'm all out of ideas.
50-50. So we got story, the noun, or tala, the noun, the story, the verb to talk, tala. Tala can also be a word used when referring to like to withdraw. So if I was asking you,
yes, I know,
to go to like an ATM,
tala malikutupe,
to withdraw, to take out.
Is that only in the context of money though? Because that's what I've heard. What if I want to withdraw from my classes, or you wouldn't be like tala maile?
Nah, for that it would be different. I think if you were to withdraw from a class, I think you would. Could potentially be whamawai. I don't know. Whamawai is to like farewell, but you don't really farewell a class. We'll look into that.
Just leave,
You'd ask Seuli what that would be like in that context. But I know definitely for tala, in that probably just used
in that context. Like when you say like tala mali tupe, is there any other way, like situation where you'd say to use it like to withdraw?
Not to withdraw, but there's another one here like to release. There's a word to tala, or to open.
Oh yeah.
So and sometimes in not fast content, but like in short speak, you say lewa tala mai tua, lewa tala mai tua sione. He was in jail, so he was released from jail, or. So
that makes sense to me, because when people like tausalamai, they like open up, so or like let it go. So
yeah, true. There's another one to open. Obviously, they're along the same lines, but I noted this down. When you're you would have seen this when they were not sawing. Te milena sao ia tonga for your sawhai.
Yeah.
And you would have heard that tala le ia lea, like to open the ear. Yeah, that's the to open one I've got.
That's cool. Like you said, different meanings, but only for specific objects, I guess. I'm trying to like tala the money, tala mali tupe, tala mali ear.
Too long. I'm trying to think of other contexts where, like the withdrawal that could be used, but the only one I can think of is the money.
Yeah, I've with my trip, they're like talamali kupe. So I recognize that.
There's a lot of talamali yeah.
There's a lot of that, and even the like you said, talamali ear, like opening up like that. It's cool. That's why I appreciate this segment, because moments in my life I recognize when we're talking about it, analyzing that it's happened. Like we've used it before. Yeah,
report is another, like obviously story. Tala story, but I know like in a church context or in like an organization context, when you have a financial report, that's called tala le tupe.
Oh yeah.
I don't hear it often referred, because it's a report, I very rarely hear it referred as a ripoti.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it, could you say, o mai le poti o le tupe? No.
I mean, I don't know. Ripoti o le tupe. You could, but because it's, yeah. I think tala le tupe is the more commonly used one. But yeah, you never hear o le ripoti lea.
It's not usual?
Yeah, it's I don't know why it wouldn't be the main one. Or it could be o le ripoti lea I le tala le tupe. That probably defeats the purpose of calling it a ripoti. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, it's funny when I think of talk, tala, or story. For some reason, I heard the word whaikakala.
Hey.
That's connected, or
yeah.
people will want to hear the story, or
yes.
and they should have break that down, or any other context.
Curious ears and minds looking for the tala.
Yeah, for the tea.
And the ones that are making the tala, spreading the tala.
Yeah. I'm like tala.
Heaps of talarings.
It can also be a name. I remember Auntie Tala.
Auntie Tala, yep.
And I have, I know someone that their name was Tala Lele.
Yep.
As a name. So.
Good news, Tala Lele.
That's it. I was trying to break down Tala Lele and I thought, good talking, but good news is much better.
Yeah. There's those uses of tala. Now these ones that I've noted down, these are pretty cool. When referring to a maota or a fale, Samoa, there are certain sides of the house which are referred to as tala.
Wait, I'm thinking of the maota, and we have there's either the roof in the bottom and the poles.
Yeah.
So which side will...
So when you walk into the maota, so the end sides of the maota, where the main high chief or the head of the family, they sit. Those are called tala, the end sections of the maota or the lawa, the tulafale's house.
So would you be like a fio mai loa fionga alungo for a
fio ane le tala.
Oh, okay, cool.
A fio ane le tala, that's that olowava lea. That's where your seat is. So that's the tala, the main end sections. You have the tala luma, or this the front tala, which is the front section when you walk in. This is where the people can't see on the live, but
I'm so engrossed in your demonstrations. Thank you, it's really helpful.
When you walk into the house, you got the ends, and then you got tala luma, or this tala where the normally the matais will sit, the visiting matais on this side, on that side, and then the village or the family sitting on this side. But this is the front, they say, on this tala.
So that would be like tala luma, and is it tala kua? No, that doesn't help.
But they have the emphasis on the a of the tala. So tala luma, and then tala tala tua, the back end,
Okay.
Where the karangoa and where all the whiaus have been done on the back
feel like
end.
if you had a pen and paper and you drew it for me, no, but I'm getting your access.
We need to get our
just
graphics,
get my AI to
graphics game on.
No, that's cool.
But those are the different when referred to sides or se maota po se lawa, po se fale Samoa fo'i. Le o I tu le tala lea, po le tala luma, po le tala tua or tala tua, where all the whiaus and the kāngoa and the kaupou sit back end of the house.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, ngofo I. My vocab is really susuma, but I'll remember for the maota that the sides are also referred to as tala.
Yeah.
Oh, but also, wait, the sides, and then because when you said tala luma, you said tala luma.
Tala luma. Yeah.
And how do you say it's the back? Tala
tua or
tua.
Tala tua. So tala luma, tala tua, matala on the sides.
Cool.
Ooh.
Anything else?
No, those are the main ones on the list. Unless anyone who's listening in, we may have missed something, but that's our breakdown of tala for today. So yeah, maybe next time. Because obviously having the tala, there's certain. We can talk about the placements. I know we kind of like briefly, my headphones, briefly touched on it this afternoon, in terms of who sits where. Like that'll be another.
It's another lesson in itself.
It's another breakout lesson, yeah. Because then we go into stuff like, we can break down. Do you have photos from yourself, eh?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But like I said, in our Malta, it was really packed. Like I just felt like a sardine squash. I mean, like it was just
big or small. It'll be able. Like I know what you mean. There's some houses are really small. Some houses are humongous. But you can still the placement of who sits at what tala is still very much
the same, generic.
Still, everyone knows. Like, okay, that's that side. This
because there's just 80 of us in there. That's why I feel like I haven't maxed out the capacity of our family Malta. But just saying that, we were there, and I couldn't even see the taupo when they were doing the other. Like, I just remember colours. Like, such a buzzy feeling though.
Yeah.
I know. I was thinking like, what's the upu buzzy in Samoa? Is it? But it'd be like siki or. I don't know. But yeah, it was a nice feeling, and that reminds me of how we were talking about my sawha'i, and then just when I was doing that thing I was telling you about the kaparin mai ipu.
Kaparin, yeah.
And then the tala from the other people that were doing the ipu. How I said that.
That's our extension chat for today. Because tell us about that experience.
So, let me just I didn't know obviously my first sawha'i that you don't have to wait for other people while we were listening because you just kapa your ipu and then you talk.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I remember someone else in our village, the man was saying that all your degrees or your masters or your qualifications don't mean anything if you don't know how to speak the language. And he was emphasizing that you need to speak the language, and I heard that and I was just thinking that's why again this segment is so important, because I'm on my journey to learn my language. And I was just thinking, actually, those degrees and those things do mean something, because through our education we're getting good jobs and we're serving our family and we're able to in that capacity give back, and the remittance so whether we speak, it comes down to whether we speak the language or not. He was just saying that's the most important, but I'm just saying you don't need to. I don't know if there's like a stigma or people feeling shy or ashamed that they don't speak their language, but sometimes it's not your fault that you're not born in the Aukalevo. I mean, you're not born in church, or you didn't learn the language, but there's opportunities like this, or there's courses out there to learn.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean doesn't make you less of Samoan, I feel.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking to you off air how I have my malu and I have my dad's blessing, and people talk about you need to tap your mouth before you get your our cultural markings, but that's all part of the journey and the process. And I don't agree with that you can't serve your family if you don't speak the language, because I think if you just have the right intentions, your heart is to serve your family and give back, that those are things that we can learn. Like, you don't just wake up and then learn the language. Some people are blessed, that's the first, they're Samoan when they're born, that's the first thing they hear. But for us here in New Zealand, would either hear our parents or the doctors. I don't know. I can't remember when I was a baby, but you'd hear English.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that?
I think firstly I want to acknowledge the fact that it's a courageous thing to do, to kind of just to speak up, because these conversations are had or have been had many times before about we hear the malu and better debate every second cycle of the year. Like we hear the language is another big topic that people, especially for us living outside of Samoa, is always a big thing for us in terms of our identity. And some of us, you're right, some of us don't know our language as much as we'd like to. And I share the same sentiments. Just because you don't know your language doesn't make you any less of a Samoan. However, one thing that you touched on, I think, is the key to that growth and that journey that you're talking about, is the opportunity. My mo is we all now have an opportunity to learn the language one way or another. So I know some people don't know the Samoan language, but just refuse to do anything about it, or kind of don't care about it, and that's on them. That's up to you. No one can tell you how Samoan you are, but in this day and age with technology and the education opportunities, you're right, we all have a chance to learn. And you never, my stance on this is no one's ever gonna learn the whole language and learn all of the culture.
We don't know everything, or no one knows
and
everything.
It's impossible.
We're always learning.
It's impossible. This, we talk about people who say ka mo molo nguku, whakaile lo tatau, o lo pea, in their minds, you have to learn learn the culture and everything about it before you. But with that mentality, and I always say this, is with that mentality, we will diminish our culture, because our culture can't be learnt in a lifetime. You know what I mean? And it's ever growing, and so I and maybe it's because maybe it's because we're born here, you know, and we share. But I'm firm in that position that
the most important thing is that we don't lose our language. We don't want to lose. There are some cultures that can't speak their language, and there's no one left. So that's the main thing. But also, I think of our parents that migrated here and had to learn English, and to there are some of our families that don't even know English, but was able to buy a house and navigate a whole new system. So it is uncomfortable, but I mean, I am grateful again, I know, to you and Renate, because admitting that I don't know everything, or that I could get it wrong, or looking like a fool when I'm trying to learn the words. But I want to learn my culture, my language. And also it's interesting because even though I'm learning the language, words have connotations, and when you think of a word, it's an experience, you know what I mean? But we're born here in New Zealand. So I remember when I was talking to my dad, I'll ask him, why is it like that? And for him, I just thought he would think in Samoan, but I don't have that. I'm born in New Zealand, so I remember when I went to random, but went to Matita, and Michael Meredith was cooking, and the smoke, and they're like, the smoke reminds me of the omu in Samoa. But for me, I couldn't relate to that. It reminded me of the fresh bread bakery smell early in the morning. You know what I mean?
Different experiences.
While I'm learning the expanding my vocab and the upu and stuff like that, it just has a different, have you seen the movie Ratatouille? So random.
I think
it's like a kids movie.
The rat.
Yeah, and he the chef the critic tastes the ratatouille and it takes him back to a memory of his mom. You know what I mean? So I feel like while I'm learning these Samoan words, it will take me back to a memory or when I learnt it. Even music, I love listening, even to your songs. They say to listen
Takes you to a place.
They say if you want to connect to your culture, listen to the music, the Samoan songs, or read the Bible, because that will help. The Bible's very hard, but I'm determined. But just learning. So long as we don't lose our culture or our language, that's so important. I'm glad that when we were colonized, obviously, but they used the Bible. But I'm glad that they didn't wipe out our. We didn't lose our language, is what I'm saying. And I share the same as you, bro. That's why we encourage our listeners. If you're like me as well and you don't know what the meaning is, or I mean, for me, I'm leaning on you and Renate, because if I could, I would bring my dad or talk to my dad. What does this mean? The other thing about learning words as well, it's pretty interesting to me. I'd tell my dad, do you know this name? He would know exactly what village it's from or where it's connected, Our parents or our older generations just know the history of the name or where it comes from.
Yeah.
Do you know that for Samoa, like we were talking about it with Renate, like how Sonny was in Samoa and I recognized the village name because I'm driving through it, but is it Leulu Moenga? Like
Leulu Moenga?
Oh, Leulu. Yeah, sorry, forget it wrong, but literally
Leulu.
how that's connected to a Samoan history where the boy went there and went to lie. Like, did you hear that? Or,
yeah.
See, I don't know that, and I wish there was like, I don't know, a Samoan history book all in one, or we learned like here in New Zealand fairy tales about Cinderella, and but where's the Samoan version? You know?
It's tough. I'm glad you said that because I feel like that. I wish there was just one definitive, like, resource. Really. This is this is the end all be all. But you know the problem with Samoan the problem with Samoan fairy tales is everyone's got a version, you know.
Yeah, each village has a different.
Yeah.
But that's also because we're a oral culture.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of like Chinese, like one person says something and it
Adjust
or embellishes or it makes them the hero or the main character. I don't know, but
that's it.
You know, but the thing is, at least we have our like oral tradition to go by. I especially love when they have the, what is it called? Like they have the metaphors. Like I remember not to go back to my dad, but when I was moving jobs, my dad, I was like, Dad, should I go here? He's like, in English, it's a rolling stone doesn't collect moss. So I got from him, he said it in Samoan, but if you stay somewhere and work your way up, like the longer you stay there, the more moss you collect. And I guess the moss is a good thing. But he was telling me, you're not going to collect moss if you keep moving around. If that makes sense. But what is that like saying called?
I don't. Oh, it'd be like a alanga upu.
Yes, I love the alanga upus because I love metaphors and things in English. So having our own ones are pretty cool and would probably help me with this as well. Like I recognize, what is it? Upu Uiga Lasi. I won't know the segment of our show. Upu Uiga Lasi.
Yeah. Seki. Thank you for your sharing today, sis, and I'm glad that this is an extension. Obviously, we want to dive into the words and stuff, but there's a lot of deeper, underlying, I guess, conversations that are to be had. And thank you for Tailo Lototele to, you know, like you said, part of this learning, not only for you but for me too, and for a lot of us, is being vulnerable to just be like, I stuffed it up. Okay, I know it now. Like, you know, like being able to understand that we're not always going to get it right, and being okay with that.
Yeah, like it's not Lukukamiki. You don't have to. Like, guys, it's not that deep. I mean, I wasn't brought up in Lukukamiki. I was Lukupope, but we didn't. I guess we didn't have that for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what next week's word is, because we did a recap last week.
Yeah.
First week was Tala. Second week. So we'll just keep expanding from.
Absolutely.
Because eventually, you can quiz me and I'll have a full-on Salador. That's the dream. With all the words.
Got this. Thank you for your time, sis. We appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who's tuning in. Malu tātou tunu ulo whawhonga me tātou por kalame I le nei vaenga o le awa